Hi there, it's Eric Backer, naturopath from New Zealand, author of Candida Crusher and formulator of the Candida range of supplements. Thanks for checking out my video, I do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe because it's for people like you. I really like to make these videos, people who come back and watch them again and again. So the question is today I've got from a lady in Spain, is Candida a problem? She was telling me that none of the doctors in Spain really believe in yeast infection. I think it's all bogus. Well, it's an interesting question, is Candida a problem? Because in fact most doctors in most all countries believe that Candida, especially intestinal yeast infection, is a completely bogus diagnosis. They do believe, however, in vaginal yeast infection, in jock itch. They believe in yeast infection in just about any other body part, but they don't believe in the gut-related problem. Candida is a problem, and it's a serious problem. But it's also a problem when you've got a lot of these idiots on the internet who say that 99% of people have got yeast infection. That's a load of crap too. Many people do have a yeast infection, but I wouldn't go as far as to say 99% of people have got it. And some people link Candida overgrowth to just about every sign and symptom you can imagine. Now, you could extrapolate that and really, if you screw up your immune system with a bad yeast infection, it can just about cause any kind of sign or symptom. But because the yeast infections are often nondescript, the doctors will basically call the patient a hypochondriac, just like they called me a hypochondriac when I was in my 20s and I had a big problem. Just like I was told to go and see a psychiatrist because they couldn't find anything wrong with me. And that's when I started to learn about stool testing. Stool testing is a very interesting way to find out if a patient has got a big intestinal problem or not. And as I mentioned in previous videos, half the people I stool test have got no Candida at all. They've got a lack of beneficial bacteria, or they've got parasites, or they've got some kind of a bacterial imbalance. And they're actually stunned when I say, you've got no yeast infection? They did 3 stool samples in this lab. Each one was cultured separately. They could find none with the microscope. They could find none with culture. They could see no visual bloom in the stool. You've got no yeast infection. So don't think that you have necessarily got a problem. It may be something else. Candida is a really big problem for people who rely regularly on inhaled steroids or prednisone, for autoimmune disease, for example. Hydrocortisone creams, not a good idea. Inhaled steroids, people on chemotherapy drugs, people who take oral contraceptive pill or hormonal pills. So Candida is a big problem for people in hospital system, especially people with inline catheters. Can be a really big problem. It's a big problem for diabetes patients. It's a big problem for a lot of different people. But you have to recognize the signs and symptoms and work out the severity of the problem and see how it relates to you. There is a solution for Candida. I've been working with Candida patients now for almost 30 years. I've helped tens of thousands of people get well, including a lot of doctors, you'd like to believe, scientists and researchers. I work with all kinds of people, airline people, people in NASA, PhDs, you name it, musicians, all kinds of people. Candida can affect anybody. If you've got a pulse and you're alive, you could have Candida, especially if you're a person who's very passionate and has got a very strong desire to achieve something worthwhile in their life. A person who's a perfectionist is prone to Candida, just like they are for yeast infection. Now, why would that be? And that's because they push all the boundaries. That's because they don't worry too much about the time. They don't worry too much about their diet. They drink alcohol or they take medications, recreational or prescribed, because they're stressed. So hear the word stress, you'll hear that word coming up many times on this Candida Crusher channel. Stress is one of the big reasons why people have got Candida. Candida is a big problem for people, particularly in the developed nations. I don't think it's so much of a problem for people in underdeveloped nations who've learned really to get to bed on time, who don't go to Dr. Google constantly, who aren't really into social media or cell phones, mobile phones, people who tend to eat very basic diets, people who don't drink a lot of alcohol. Many people like that will not have a yeast infection. Most of the patients I see are in the bigger cities, and they tend to have the higher stress and high stress lifestyles, and the alcohol, and the sugar and coffee to go with it, and the convenience foods. So Candida can certainly be a big problem. And in Spain, of course, I know people there like drinking wine and they have a lot of sugar, like many people do in other countries. and the temperature there, the heat, can make you more prone to it too. Brazil's, for example, a very hot spot for yeast infections in men and women for the high sugar consumption and the high temperature there. So that's where that could be a big problem. But we still see it in the cooler climates as well. I see a lot of patients from Sweden with yeast infection. Patients right up the top, of the globe will get it. So it's not necessarily only in tropical countries. So I hope that answers your question. Is Candida a problem? It is a problem. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to click on the link below if you want my little report. Thank you.